I think pretty much every Harry Potter fan can agree that the movies, while still good, do on the whole fall short of the books. However, there are definitely at least a handful of things the movies did better in my opinion. So, here is one thing each Harry Potter movie did better than its respective book. For the Philosopher's Stone, the biggest improvement for me is honestly the opening scene. I thought the book's version of this scene explained too much too early, and I actually prefer the vagueness of the movie version. Firstly, because I feel the dialogue sounds more natural, and also because it allows us to learn everything along with Harry rather than knowing it before he does. On a similar note, I also like how the movie moved Hagrid's explanation about what happened to Harry's parents to a later scene than the hut on the rock. Basically, I just thought the movie did a better job of putting us into Harry's shoes as he's entering the wizarding world, as well as spacing out the information rather than dumping it on us all at once. In my opinion, this is the movie that has the most improvements from the book, so it was a little tricky to pick one out. However, I think I'm going to go with the fight against the Basilisk and Tom Riddle. It's significantly extended in the movie, with the sequence in the pipes and Harry climbing the statue, which made for a far more exciting climax in my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense that throwing the stone would fool it, as it should still be able to smell Harry, but that's something I feel I can overlook. I thought the fight was over a little too quickly in the book, so I appreciated how they extended it in the movie. I also like how Fawkes didn't need to drop the diary in Harry's lap. He figured out how to destroy it all on his own. Every book ends with Dumbledore talking to Harry, giving him advice and explaining the events of the year, and Prisoner of Azkaban is no exception. The movie, however, cut this part and had Sirius and Lupin be the ones to give Harry this advice and wisdom instead. I really liked this change. I think it's really fitting for it to be these two, given how close Harry became with each of them. Sirius as a parental figure, and Lupin as a teacher and mentor. Dumbledore will still have plenty of chances to do this, so I think it's really cool how this movie let it be Sirius and Lupin instead. And the advice they give is perfectly fitting for each of them. Okay, I'll be honest, it was really hard to find something in this movie that I liked better than the book. In the end, I settled on Amos Diggory's reaction to his son's death. In the book, we only catch up with him later, but the movie actually showed us his immediate reaction, which made for one of the most tragic and heartbreaking moments in the series, in no small part due to Jeff Rawls' emotionally devastating performance. So yeah, good on this movie for showing us this, as it was unbelievably effective. Sirius. Just Sirius. I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Sirius in this book. He comes across a bit too mopey, though to be fair, not without reason, and self-centered for my liking, which I don't think is how we want to see him in his last appearance before he dies. I like him much better in the movie. He's so much warmer and more supportive and feels like a real father figure to Harry. I especially like when he reassures Harry when he gets worried he's going bad, and I think it was a great idea to have him be the one to show Harry the picture of the original Order of the Phoenix, and just making that a more positive moment in general. For this movie, I have to go with the scene in Hagrid's hut where Harry convinces Slughorn to give him his memory. This scene as a whole just feels much more emotional and heartfelt than its book version. I felt much more of a connection between Harry and Slughorn in the movie. You can just feel the affection Slughorn had for Lily, both through the dialogue and Broadbent's performance. I especially love his story about Francis the Goldfish, which wasn't in the book. I also prefer the speech Harry gives in the movie, as it comes across more encouraging and less manipulative. And I love the moment at the end where he steadies Slughorn's hand. This one was a little tricky, but I think I'm going to go with something they simplified. I always thought the way the trio learned that the Sword of Gryffindor was missing in the book by overhearing that conversation with the goblins was way too much of a coincidence. In the movie, they simply had Scrimgeour tell them right away that the sword was missing, which I think is far more believable. It does make the realization that the sword can destroy Horcruxes a bit more sudden, but still more believable than them happening to overhear that conversation. For Deathly Hallows Part 2, I have Harry confronting Snape. In the book, Harry is invisible when Snape is driven out of Hogwarts, so the two don't even interact until Snape's death scene. I think getting to see Harry actually call out Snape in front of the whole school was a great moment, and really important for both characters. I think it also makes it even more rewarding when Harry learns the truth about Snape at the end. Also, it gives Alan Rickman more screen time, which is never a bad thing. And there we have it. These are not the only things that I think the movies did better, but these are definitely the ones that stood out to me the most from each movie. Let me know in the comments what other improvements you think the movies made, and whether you agree with the ones I listed here. Just please be civil about it. Thanks for watching.